We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello, welcome to IBD Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I'm in the role of a caregiver. I'm a caregiver, but that's my role on the show.
Yeah, that's our role.
Where I try to speak from to help other caregivers listening out there. So today feel like we keep saying this, we're either in a new room, we're in a new spot in the room, or we're having some kind of issues. We were recording on a laptop, and it was just
having some troubles because videos take up a lot of space, and then you have to edit and have the editing programs and all that together kind of just takes up a bunch of memory. So
it takes a lot of power to edit videos and to run multiple things at once. And I was asking a lot of that laptop, and I finally this week we got the Apple Mini M2. It's like a mini studio. And so now we have a permanent setup, and which is really cool.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
It is. And so we have a lot more power and capacity for interviews now and doing more things. So that's really exciting. However, the only thing is we use an external camera, and we don't have it set up in a position that is far enough away. So we're pretty close in today. The plan is to eventually back it out a little bit.
Or find another way to hook it up properly.
Yeah. Right now it's literally sitting on a Vans shoebox with a Christmas tall candle decoration.
It's fine, okay?
I walk around trying to find what I could quickly, and
if it works,
make
it works.
Work.
That's all that matters.
So that's what's going on. Yeah. So it's interesting, but everything else,
you got an amazing computer now. It's a really cool keyboard and mouse. So anyways, it all works now. It's got a lot more storage space than the other one with all the other stuff combined on it. So yeah,
it's very exciting.
Makes up for the camera.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about something I hope a lot of you will keep an open mind and realize this isn't a situation where you're right or you're wrong. This is more of just to give you an idea how to be kind and understanding. We do that a lot on this show where we bring up situations that have to do with chronic illness, IBD, and helping others understand who don't deal with this on a daily basis. So the topic today is going to be about masks, which is very debatable here. You either are for them or against them, it seems. And
love them or hate them, like that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like anybody is they're very opinionated about it. You either feel very strongly for or strongly against. And that's what we're here to discuss today is masks and also social situations where we would be wearing masks or other events and kind of those challenges with having Crohn's disease and also being immunosuppressed. So these are just something I think that is important for us to discuss. And interestingly enough, with masks, a lot of people, the reason why I also want to talk about this, even in the IBD community, in the groups, they're like, does my kid need to wear a mask? Or even adults, they're constantly getting sick and they're like, why am I getting sick? And that's the question is, do I need to mask? And of course, some people are like, no, absolutely not. And others are like, I wear a mask every day. So it can vary in the community too.
If you're going to a place and there's a lot of sick people, like a hospital, maybe it'd be important to wear a mask, maybe so there's a lower risk of catching an illness, or if you have a low immune system, if you have Crohn's or taking biologics that cause a low immune system, it's just safer to wear a mask than get sick and be sorry you didn't wear a mask.
So
it's rather safe than sorry.
What we go by is what Mason's doctors tell us. And this isn't just Mason's doctor. This is a team of doctors that have come to this conclusion. They all discuss things. They talk at the clinic and then relay to us the latest updates. They're right on top of it. And so for us, we are going to follow the doctor's advice because if there's any chance that we can keep Mason healthier,
Yeah.
keep him from flaring, why
Yeah,
wouldn't
why would
we?
yeah.
And if it's something just as simple as wearing a mask, which it's not fun. I don't
No,
enjoy wearing
it's
them.
not fun, but it's not
No, but it's
like
not
painful.
painful
It's
or right. I
not
mean, compared to
that
what
bad
you
of a
go
challenge.
through
Yeah.
and having all the things I watch you do, for me to put on a mask is like seems extremely
Just holding up a
simple.
finger,
Yeah,
you know?
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So basically today, I don't want anyone listening to this to feel if you don't believe in masks, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're not here to change anyone's opinions.
We're not on a team and we're not on different teams. We're just
No.
in the middle.
We're here just to basically teach tolerance and understanding and maybe present a different perspective that you had not thought of next time you see somebody wearing a mask. And we're also not here to talk about how well masks work. And I know there is plenty of arguments on either side, and so we don't want to get into that. That's not, we're not doctors, we're not scientists, and we have our own opinions on that, but we know a lot of you listening do too. So this is not up for debate on if they work, if they don't. This is just based on doctor recommendations for us and what we feel we can do to help Mason. So we're going to talk about the masks first, and then kind of talk about social situations. And those of you with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis who are listening, I hope that we can maybe do some justice here and give you guys something that you can even show family members or friends to help them better understand your situation.
Why you wear a mask?
Mm-hmm.
What's your reason for wearing a mask?
And I think like part of the problem here is that wearing a mask turned political.
2020.
Yeah, with COVID. And the funny thing is people wore masks before COVID. COVID did not invent masks. It was just
Masks
different
just became more
circumstances.
popular and it became a
Because of the
rule for them.
mandates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are fighting is feeling controlled and being told to wear a mask, which is a whole different situation. And if you are one of the lucky ones out there who have a healthy immune system and don't have anything, then you do you. And that's that. So that's a whole different situation when they were mandated and people felt forced to do something that maybe they didn't believe in. So that aside, the problem with masks is that it started becoming viewed where you would see somebody wearing a mask and you automatically assume you know what political party they belong to or what their beliefs are. And
Which can cause fights.
yes, which causes fights and then causes people to want to they want to argue about it or
They
debate
want to
or
prove
or
someone
force their
wrong.
opinion.
Yeah.
And it's like really not that involved when you see somebody wearing a mask. So I guess the number one thing to do is don't assume when you see someone wearing a mask that you know all of these facts about them just by seeing that. Because masks, like we said, they've been around a long time before COVID. And I want to say, like in 2019, if you saw somebody wearing a mask, if we were shopping, what would you have thought if you saw someone wearing a mask?
I probably would have thought, oh, they're sick, maybe they have illness or maybe maybe they have like the flu, maybe they have a cold and they don't want to spread it to other people.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I thought. Or maybe they don't want to get sick from other people if they're in an environment where they can easily get sick. That's kind of what I would have thought.
Right. And so you probably wouldn't have given it.
I probably wouldn't have thought of it into that deeply.
Right.
But
But
that's probably what
that would be the
thought.
process in your head. It's not a big deal. They are either protecting themselves or protecting others. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have cared to go up to them and challenge them. It just would have been like, okay, I
You're
see
wearing a
this.
mask? Okay.
Yeah. And I think after 2020, there's a lot more judgment when you see someone wearing a mask. And I think that, for us, we've noticed this because we are mask wearers. And thankfully, people have been, for the most part, very kind.
Yes.
And even offering to put on a mask when they do find out why Mason is wearing one.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, which is really cool. And we don't require that.
No, we
That's the
don't.
thing. It's like now the only time is if you're going to come into our home for any reason, we will ask that somebody wear a mask because it is in our living
Yes,
space.
yes.
It's a little different. The thing that was difficult is my husband, Mason's dad, so he works at Costco.
He works at Costco.
I don't think
one of
we
the
have to
largest
like,
stores in the
yeah.
world. We're not going to get copyrighted
yeah.
because of that.
So he works at Costco, and he is one of the last few people working there who wears a mask. And
wears it for the entire day.
He does. And we've talked to the doctors about this too. When he does wear a mask, a lot of times he gets people who want to challenge him. And
Which is sad.
Yeah. And it's like some people are curious. They ask if he is sick, which is a valid question. Maybe they're
just asking,
and that's fine. Some people are curious and ask away. He's gotten used to it. So he'll explain, no, I'm wearing this for my son. And even with that, some people still want to challenge him. And they start like throwing out numbers that they've heard from wherever they pulled these facts. And my husband is just like, hey, I'm just here. I'm just working.
He's just working.
I'm just trying to protect my son. And he's like well aware that there's a chance that these masks aren't doing much, but if there's even a 1% chance that it's
still doing something,
it's still something.
It's worth wearing.
Because from a caregiving perspective, and that's a whole separate it's a whole separate thing, which I wasn't going to get into on this episode, but depending on what treatment regimen your child is on or whoever you live in a house with who has IBD, it will vary on their immune system. So there might be a reason why you don't have to wear masks and your doctor has not brought this up with you. So if you're hearing this, you're like, I have Crohn's disease, we're not wearing masks. That's probably because your treatment regimen
is different. So your immune system might not be as suppressed.
Right. So there could be a reason why your doctors haven't brought it up. And maybe for some of you, it doesn't make practical sense because you're going to school, you're going to work, and it is just a lot to always wear a mask. But for my husband, it's something that he wanted to do to protect Mason because as caregivers, if he brings something home, then we have to be very careful with Mason.
And then she has to take care of it.
And since I am the primary caregiver,
yeah.
If I catch it, then we have another problem because Mason is at the hospital so much for treatments that we drive him, we take him there, we go with him. If any of us are sick, we have to be careful because the places we're going into with Mason, there's other people there who
who might have immune system suppressed immune system,
right.
Or if they get sick, they have other problems.
Right. So it's just consideration. We try to do it to help others, and it's really sad, I think, when people feel the need to push their opinion onto Jason and tell him, that mask is silly, it's a joke. And it's like, would you have said this in 2019 if someone said my child has an incurable disease that has a suppressed immune system? Would you make fun of that person? Probably not.
No, there wasn't really a reason in 2019.
No,
and it's not any different now.
And the thing is, I think it's because like there's a lot more articles that people can find now to support whatever they want to on either side. And so people all of a sudden feel like experts that they can tell other people what to do. And the biggest thing is basically in this podcast, the takeaway here is just who cares? Yeah. Like who cares?
If you don't want to wear it, you don't have to wear it. But if someone else is wearing it, you don't have to fight them.
If Jason's wearing a mask, like what is the point?
Yeah, he's wearing it. He's not asking you to wear it.
No, if you came through on he demanded you wear a mask, that might be a debate. But if he's not asking you to and he's just going about his work,
it's not your problem.
Yeah, he's being a good dad. I think that there's a lot like with the mask, it's right on your face.
Yeah.
It's right there. So people see it and
it can't really be hidden.
No. And it's
unless
not
there's
like
invisible masks.
Yeah. Which no. So what happens is, imagine like if someone out there, if you're taking a certain medication or something and it was written all over your face, or it's written on your shirt and people felt the need to tell you like, why are you taking that? You shouldn't, if you were always judged for things you did for personal medical reasons, a mask is one of the most obvious signs that someone has a medical issue. And so I feel like you can't hide your condition.
No.
And it's right there. And sometimes people are going to look at that and they're going to assume that you're wearing that for a certain reason that has nothing to do with what we're actually wearing it for.
Not for a disease, not for being sick, not for not making others sick, not for protection.
Right. And for us, it's about everything out there.
Yeah.
I think that people may judge you like as being weak because it's like, oh, you're a follower. Oh, you're scared of COVID. And it's like,
you're afraid to catch COVID.
It's like, it's none of those things. We're not doing this to make a stand. It's just to help protect Mason. And so most of the people that you see wearing masks that are doing this for these reasons are actually extremely strong and very brave and having to face things that if you don't understand it, you're very fortunate in life.
Very
And
lucky.
very lucky. It's a lot of privilege that goes along with being healthy. And people take that for granted and think it's funny to make fun of somebody or to
Rude to others
be
for
rude.
no reason.
Right. And I see it even like it carries on to social media, which is part of the problem because people are on there and they are making fun of somebody they saw that was wearing a mask or posting facts about how masks don't work and people who wear them are dumb and it's like ouch like
Why did you have to do that? What's
why
your
like
reason?
yeah it's like
What's the
bullying.
point of doing that?
Why does everybody have to talk about this? Why can't people just like on either side let it go and just
Hmm.
like have
Let
your
it
own
be,
opinions? Like why do we have to bully or belittle or hurt others and make fun of them? And it's sad to me that social media is an acceptable place to make fun of people. I've seen things where people are wearing, like they're laughing at somebody they saw because they're wearing a mask in their car.
It's rude.
And
Sure.
yeah, and it's like, well, okay, there's several different reasons you don't know, and it's not very nice to judge. Why do we have to judge that person? Maybe that person is being conscientious. Maybe they're sick and they're going to pick up somebody. Maybe they're an Uber
Maybe
or
they're an Uber and they don't know if the person they're picking up is sick, or maybe they are sick and they don't want to give their illness to the person that they're delivering to the place.
they're just being courteous
Just
and
being
they're being kind,
cautious.
and people think it's funny. And we will sometimes wear masks in a car
Yeah,
because we can't so sometimes like if we're going to go to Disneyland and my mom is going with us,
you have to wear
we
masks
have to wear
because it's in
masks in
a
the
small
car.
area and
Yeah.
there's no airflow, so you have to wear a mask to be safe.
And I'm sure people driving by might be like, haha,
Look
look at
at them,
them.
they're
They're,
wearing
like all
masks.
wearing masks in the car. And but the reasoning is my mom doesn't wear a mask in her regular day-to-day life. She doesn't wear a mask. So
There's a chance that she can be sick more often. Maybe she can be sick and you don't know because there's the time before you're sick or the time after you're sick and it's still going down, but you still have some of those symptoms that can have get other people sick.
yep. So simple way to take care of that
It's
is
just by
to
wearing
wear a
masks.
mask. So just I think there's a lot of assumptions made when people see people wearing masks. They start judging them immediately. And instead of just like saying, "Hey, who cares?"
Let it be,
And even if the person is scared of COVID and is wearing, who cares? Like a mask is not hurting you at all. It's not like anything. It's not even like secondhand smoke. It's not, it's nothing like that. It's just simply what somebody is wearing. And
It doesn't harm anyone else.
no, not at all. That's like it's and we don't like we were just saying, we don't ask other people around us. Like even my mom and my dad, they will do it out of courtesy if we're sitting near each other and but most of the times if we're outdoors because we try to indoor places are tough. It's like
Yeah,
that's going to have to be masked up. But if we're around you, we're outdoors, and we have room all between us, it's okay. It's just nice to have people that respect and understand
and
that.
care.
Right. And I think the biggest thing is to just like try to resist like lecturing somebody. Like if you're listening to this, you're like, but I really think masks are not effective. It's like, that's okay that
Yeah,
you
you're allowed
think
to think
that.
that,
Yeah, that's
but you
okay.
shouldn't hurt others
No,
because of an opinion.
for some reason, people find that it's okay to intrude in either direction. And for us, it's just about mutual respect and just don't be a bully.
No.
And I think that if you feel like, but I really need to say something to that person, that's like a you problem. Like you need to look inside
That's not their
yourself and
problem.
be like, okay, why do I feel the need to go tell that person how to live their life? If you need to feel superior and
Where is
smarter
those
than someone
control
else,
issues coming from?
yeah, that's a deeper issue. That's not we're not going to solve that
No.
on this podcast for you. So and that goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's and so the thing here is we just want you to consider that next time you see somebody wearing a mask, you don't need to form any opinion other than they're just doing that for whatever reasons they're doing that. And also I think like if a child has cancer and it's very apparent because they are missing hair or there's things and you saw them wearing a mask, I cannot imagine somebody making fun of them. So just because somebody looks healthy and is
Doesn't
wearing a
mean they don't
mask.
have an illness.
Right. So it doesn't mean you can see the reason. So either way it'd be messed up. And it's messed up at any reason. There's no reason to ever try to hurt somebody for those.
Respect others like you want to be respected.
Yep.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah. I mean, more people could do that. I think we could all get along
Yeah.
a lot better on multiple situations.
Multiple
So
levels.
I know people's feelings get hurt. We know this personally. We know this has happened when you can't go to certain events. And part of that, like we're just talking about, we can wear masks and we can go, but if it's indoors
You can't.
and there's a lot of people, that's when it gets
It's more of a
difficult.
challenge.
Yeah. And this doesn't have to do either with being immunosuppressed. And so there's sometimes when you have Crohn's and you're having some issues and you just can't go.
Maybe crowded areas make you nervous.
Yeah.
You don't really want to go, and you have a Crohn's disease, you have a flare, and that just makes things worse.
Right. Especially if you're not sure where
Yeah.
bathrooms are. I mean, you're just exhausted or you're having some kind of pain, whatever it might be. You're not always going to be able to go to events.
Yeah, you're not able to go
And you have to
everywhere.
turn stuff down. And I know one of the commenters had mentioned to me that it's painful because they stopped getting invited to family functions because they said no. And it's like you start to feel like you're being punished. Like someone's like, well, I invited you once and twice and you turned it down. So now we're not going to even consider it at all. But I think the lesson here is to help you understand if you're listening and you do not have a disease, but you do feel like, well, I've invited them. They're not going to show up. Just forget it. I don't think that's cool. Like,
No,
I think you should
it's kind of
still,
rude.
yeah, like include them because with this disease, things change by the day. And so maybe 6 months ago when you invited, things were different. And so reach out again. And if the person says, I can't make it, be gentle about it and just okay with it.
You can understand, you know,
Yeah,
but
because
don't just forget about them.
no, you don't treat them like they're doing this to you because it's way more hard on the person with the disease than the person doing the inviting. I guarantee you that. I mean, anybody who feels like this is an easy thing, I challenge you, stay home a week and try to pretend that you can't go anywhere because you have pain or you have to stay close to a bathroom or you can't go in stores because of your immune system. See how these guys live their lives and how challenging it can be. Put yourselves in their shoes before you think, oh, they didn't show up because they don't like me. It's like, no,
No,
no, it's
just
not
have
like that.
other issues,
Yeah, so it's
and it's
it's
not you.
no, it's out of your control. And I think that you just need to know, like, don't take anything personally and continue to extend an invite and not in a pushy way where you make them feel bad. Like, well, I invited you last time and you said if I invite you this time, maybe you'd go. And
You better come this time.
right, just understand that it's a disease and the person cares about you and still like to be part of a family structure, part of a friendship. So just include them. Like we're very open on social media about where Mason's at. But if someone isn't as open about it, talk to them and see how they're feeling.
We said
Maybe
before, ask questions.
that's what we always say, ask questions to find out and just see how they're feeling and find out, okay, so maybe you're still not in a place where we can invite you over. Okay, I get
You
it.
can understand.
We have had people not believe us too about this because they feel like, well, we saw you guys post, you guys were at that fundraiser. And how
You were at
come?
the blood bank. You were at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Yeah. And then you were at Disneyland. And
You were
so
at Disneyland.
how come you can't come to our house? And a couple simple reasons for us. We made a rule in the very beginning that we wouldn't go to anyone's house. Simple as that.
If
Because
we go to one person's house, then another person will be like, well, why didn't you come to mine? If you went to theirs, why
yes,
can't you come to my house? And then everyone starts getting like, why can't you come to my house? You went to theirs, and it turns into a whole big fight and
right.
get more people involved,
And people
which just
get
creates a
hurt.
bigger issue.
Then
Yeah.
their feelings get hurt because like, well, you chose to go to that family member's house and
But
not
not
to
mine.
ours.
What did I do?
Right. And so we just made a deal that we wouldn't go to anyone's house. And if we could do porch visits, maybe we could meet somewhere and go, but it was just easier in the beginning to make that decision. And things can be flexible. We can change. And we have been able to slowly change things because it's been a while since Mason was diagnosed and our lives have changed so much. We have to also learn to adapt and do different things.
Yeah.
So now that rule may change a bit, but it was not an easy decision, but it's like
No,
if
it
we
was
pick
necessary.
one, we're going to hurt somebody else. So we did it more to not hurt people and say, come stop by. Plus, it was easier for Mason if people stop by because,
a flare, it can't really
yeah,
go that far. So,
yeah. I don't think people understand that either. That it's like, well, we have a bathroom. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
it's just easier sometimes for them to be home.
sometimes
And
if your
yeah,
back is out and you
yeah,
don't really feel like moving, you don't really want to go anywhere.
right. There's reasons we had that were just easier. Then other family would, okay, well, we saw, Mason was on the news. And how did you have those reporters over? And it's like, first of all, we always have a rule and we do require that they wear masks. And yes, and it's not that long of a process. And I would hope that anyone would think, first of all, that what we're doing is raising awareness.
Yeah.
And I think anyone out there, if you've had a child that was diagnosed with a disease that there is no cure for, and the treatments that you see what they go through are
The first thing you're going to want to do is most likely find a cure.
right. So you will see us. The number one thing we will generally say yes to going to is a fundraiser. And there's times like the last gala we went to, we raised just off Mason's name, it was $100,000.
Which is crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. And so for us, worth it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
yes.
like
And
100
his
times
doctors
worth
are aware of this too. We do discuss this with the
And they're
doctors.
fine
So
with it.
so it's calculated risks, but we fight hard because we want to find a cure and we want to find better treatments. We can't do everything that we're invited to. It's
No.
just not
It's not possible.
No, and Mason's health is number one. You don't see all the events we said no to. There are a lot of things we do have to say no to, including sometimes
Push back.
and sometimes even like the one of the ones I can think about that you were excited about was when Comic-Con was the blood bank was going to be there doing blood draw. They were going to be there collecting blood, and they were having Team Survivor come out and say hi to everybody. His doctor said no.
Which is understandable because Comic-Con is a very crowded place and people from everywhere go there
And we thought it would be, so we weren't going to be in the actual Comic-Con. We were going to be, there was a hotel next door where they were going to have a room where they were going to be taking the blood. And so we thought, okay, if we just stay in there,
donors.
right. But the doctor said, you're still in a hotel where there's a lot of people, and she didn't feel comfortable with it. So we didn't go. But these aren't things we post on Facebook. Like, guess where we didn't go? Guess who we didn't go to, who invited us. So if you're listening and we've turned down something you invited us to, chances are you're definitely not alone in that. There's a lot of things we aren't able to do, but there's a few things that we definitely prioritize because of the fundraising possibilities. In our case, we are extremely thankful to like the San Diego Blood Bank
for doing what they
because
do.
that's why Mason's here.
It gave me my life back, and so did the Crohn's Class Foundation because
Yep.
they helped find the biologics that work for me today.
Yeah, and they continue to fight to help you guys. I do want to make sure like you're not unimportant just because you're not a fundraiser. Any friends and family out there, they're like, ouch. They only want to do things where they can make money for a cure. That's not the case. And we do our best to spend time with our family and friends. And you guys do make time for us, and we are very happy about that. And I'm glad Mason gets that experience. Certain things we do have to turn down to make sure Mason is healthy for either a scheduled infusion or treatment. There's certain times where things just don't work, but keep inviting and hopefully it'll work out. And eventually you can kind of get back to a normal. And
more normal.
Yeah. I think people forget, or they think like Mason's going to grow out of this, or maybe Mason he's no longer has a suppressed immune system, or he's not. And it's like, it's the same.
That's not really how it works.
Mason's not going to grow out of this disease.
No. Unless there is a cure. But if there is not a cure, no one can grow out of Crohn's disease.
So with that, that's the end of the podcast.
Yep.
I think today was kind of just I know it might kind of wandered a little bit, but I thought it was important to address because we're coming to the holidays where a lot of people are getting together and a lot of people are out shopping and there might be more masks. And I was just hoping to maybe get you to think of a different perspective and maybe
people
some tolerance.
Understanding.
Yep. That's would be cool.
Have a Merry Christmas.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
It's like in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the
it's coming
exact
up.
days, but it's around
It
2 to
is.
3 weeks.
Yeah, and we got last weekend, we got to go to Club 33 and watch the candlelight ceremony at
It was so
Disneyland.
cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, we
Like the
were very
candlelight and
fortunate.
the candlelight eating ceremony, you would
Mhm.
call it, is like, yeah, I'll never look at Disneyland the same.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it really, really was. And we were so fortunate to get an invite and be a part of that. So that was cool. Mason also did a speech. We mentioned it last week. He was going to be doing it. He also did a speech at the Spin for a Cure.
Spin for a Cure.
It was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
That was a really cool event.
It was
So
cool.
yeah, you guys can follow us on Instagram at Team IB Determined, and there'll be plenty of pictures from that spin event, also from Disneyland. So if you want to catch up and see what we've been doing in the past week, feel free.
Yeah.
And you can also listen to us on any podcast station like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. I usually post a link to Buzzsprout that has all the different
Connections to all
icons.
the different
Yeah, so you can find
podcasts.
what you listen to and listen to us.
If you like watching us, you can go to YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a video, make sure you hit that bell. And also, here we go again with the guilt trip. If you don't,
again.
we barely get to any comments, so please comment now. We've been getting more comments, and I thank you for commenting. But if we get more comments, that'll be really fun. And we read all our comments because we don't get that many. And some things you could,
And even if we got a lot, we'd read them.
yeah, we read it. We'd read them. We'd read everyone.
Just know that.
Yeah,
yeah, we definitely would. So
I love reading your comments.
well, it's important to me because
as long as they're nice.
yeah, right. I know, and you're not always going to agree with us, and that's okay too. But we hope to get some feedback and maybe suggestions for future episodes. Things that are important to you.
Episodes, questions, things you can relate to, what you relate about in the episode. What you have while you were watching us, different things
That
like
would
that.
be cool. I would like to know that. Yeah.
How did you find us? Why are you still watching us?
Yeah. I think
what
that'd
do
be
you find
cool.
interesting about us?
Yeah.
No,
Be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
Or I guess
like
whatever. We'll have fun with it. So
we're excited for the holidays. Stuff like
yeah,
that.
I'm excited. So we're doing more baking again.
Yep.
So we're bringing treats to the hospital on Tuesday. We're gonna bring treats to the clinic, and then we're also gonna be going to the San Diego Blood Bank after the hospital, and we're gonna be bringing them some treats. They don't know it yet, so we're gonna surprise them. But we know they'll be excited.
They'll be so excited.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. You guys have a great day, evening, morning, weekend,
waiting for Christmas,
afternoon. Yeah, whenever you're listening to this. And we'll be back next week with another episode. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you
in the next episode. Merry Christmas. I'll see you before Christmas.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.